By the way, give it up for that band again. They were fantastic. So my day job is I actually work for AT&T, and I know what you're thinking, and you're welcome. I've always wondered, this is the smallest stage I've ever seen with 5 people on it, and it's nice to see somebody repurposing those old phone booths of ours. It's fantastic. So when Tom called me and asked me to do this tonight, I immediately said yes because I knew it was a good cause. We're doing good stuff here, but also I kind of felt obligated to do it because, well, I knew that I had the 2 qualities Tom was looking for most in comedy entertainment tonight, and so I felt I had to do it. One, I wasn't doing anything else tonight. The football game I cared about was over, and also I'm not getting paid, and I know both of those are very important to Tom. So it's good to be here, and I'm glad to be supporting this. So Tom and I have known each other for over 40 years. We were roommates. I was a 17-year-old kid, just barely here out of Boston. Hadn't been here long, and Tom was an English major, as I recall, in Santa Barbara, and I was a marine biology major. I was definitely going to be working for Jacques Cousteau on the Calypso. That was the plan. Tom, I think, did get that English degree. You did, right, Tom? You got that English degree. I unfortunately, I was sidetracked. I did not get the marine biology degree, although I did major in it for a couple of years. The problem was that while I was majoring in marine biology, I was minoring in bomb hits, out of this stuff. And it turns out that really does sidetrack a career in the sciences. I distinctly remember once trying to learn a semester of differential equations in 48 hours. And you can't do it. At least I can't do it. So I work for AT&T, interesting job. My job is about every 3 years I give a new name to the giant stadium. And, working on another one for next year, you're going to love it. I'm going to be 60 soon. And I'm not one of these guys that worries about any particular birthday. I don't care. I mean, I learned from my mother that there are worse things than getting older, like not getting older. So I'm fine with getting older. But I did an interesting thing. I'm getting ready to retire. I'm going to be 60, and I'm looking for kind of what's next. What am I going to do to occupy myself? I can't stay home. My wife will kill me. So 4 days ago, this is the truth. And by the way, I'll be telling you true things and bullshit things, and you can decide what's real. But 4 days ago, I started taking stand-up comedy classes in San Francisco at the San Francisco Comedy College, which is on Post. And so you're 4 days away from the only training I've had on this. And the interesting thing about it is, much like science classes, where you have both a lecture and a lab practical, it's exactly the same. So I had about 90 minutes of fantastic lecture Tuesday night. And then, as soon as it was over, he walks us all up 8 blocks in North Beach to the Purple Onion to do 3 minutes each. So just throw them to the wolves, do 3 minutes at the Purple Onion, a pretty famous old club. And what I learned from that was this. There are now, I'm aware of 2 professions. I'm aware of 2 professions where, with only 90 minutes of training, you're qualified to work. One is stand-up comedy, and the other is customer service in a phone company. 90 minutes and you're ready to go. So the other thing is, there's 15 of us in the class, and I knew this was going to happen. I was afraid of it. This is the only part of being older I was a little worried about. I'm the oldest guy in the class. The demographics are 20-somethings who work at Google, 30-something kids. They're all great. The oldest one besides me is a woman who's 44. Apparently, she's got 5 cats and lives alone in an RV, so that's going to be interesting. And then there's me. I'm the oldest guy. And I'm okay with that. It's just I've kind of got to find my space. The thing about being older is, the thing about comedy is, you need to find some shared cultural reference points with your audience, if you're going to connect. And I've got to figure out how to do that. And the thing is, a lot of the comics coming up now, the kids are hip-hop generation. And, I'm not hip-hop generation, but I'm not old. I'm kind of in between. I think I'm right in between the hip-hop generation and the hip replacement generation. So one of the things about being 60 that I know is true is you get some perspective, okay? I mean, all this shit that ever bothers me still bothers me, okay? But I think what's happening is, it's a longer list of stuff, and I'm kind of learning to let go. And so I think what I'm going to figure out is, I'm going to use this. It's cheaper than psychotherapy, for sure. And I'm going to use this to let go of the stuff that bothers me. So that's kind of my plan. For example, one thing I need to let go of is my childhood. I grew up in New England, and I was like 17 when I came out here, but I didn't like my grammar school years much. We call it grammar school back there. I guess it's grade school here. I didn't like those years much. I was teased and picked on. What do they call it now? Bullied out here. I don't think a week went by in grammar school when I didn't have my lunch money stolen, and frankly, that got to be kind of embarrassing because I was homeschooled, you know. Thanks, Mom. So, because I have no sense of how much time is going by here, I told you I work for AT&T. Yeah, I'm good. Corporate stuff interests me. I'll probably spend some time talking about that. You probably all heard some pretty big... Please step away from the vehicle. What happened? So you probably all heard some pretty big news a couple of weeks ago about Apple CEO Tim Cook came out as gay, right? Huge news. It's amazing. By far the highest profile CEO of an American company to come out as gay, which is great. But you might have missed this part. Not to be outdone, Apple's arch rival, Samsung, just announced Friday that their CEO is 25% more gay and less expensive.
Very good, very good, very good.
So, I've been watching a lot of TV lately, and this only works if you're about my age. But there's a channel on TV. You know these channels that play the retro TV shows? There's a channel called Me TV. You ever seen that? You watch that? So they play the old TV shows, and recently I had a really weird experience this weekend. There was a show when I was a kid, my brothers and I loved. It was called The Rifleman. Okay? You remember that?
What? I watched it yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. You have no idea how dear that show was to me. But I still have the 1963 autographed picture that I sent away for Chuck Connor. I still have it. Love that guy. So I remembered it as a heartwarming story of a guy trying to raise his kid alone in the dangerous Old West, okay? So recently, I haven't seen it in a while, and I'm watching like 10 of them in a row, binge watching. And I noticed something that shocked the hell out of me. It's really the story of a kid who grows up watching his father kill somebody every weekend. Over the course of like 6 seasons, he kills like 300 guys. That's got to mess with your head a little bit. So what it really is, it's a story of a kid. It's a heartwarming story of a kid trying to grow up without his mom and living with a serial killer, basically. And so I think what happens is, young Mark McCain grows up and becomes Dexter. That's what it is. That's what happens. All right. So I'm gonna leave you with one last thing, because my son-in-law thinks I'm a technophobe, you know, and I'm not. I'm not a Luddite. I like technology, but what I have a problem with is runaway technology. I don't like when technology is used to solve problems that were kind of already solved. Okay. So perfect example. I'm really getting tired of walking into public restrooms and having to do this for water, and this for soap, and this to flush, and this to get paper towels. So you walk in, it wasn't a problem that needed to be fixed. You walk into a busy men's room on a Friday night now, and it's Dancing with the Stars in there. Okay? I'm kind of tired of it. I just wanted paper towel. And the thing is, and you know this has happened to you, you know it. I walked up to a paper towel dispenser, and I'm doing this, but it was one of the old ones that had a crank. And I do not like when a paper towel dispenser makes you feel stupid. Something's wrong with it. And the worst is, and you know this is coming, so wait for it, okay? The one task they haven't automated yet in there is the one that's coming next. So be on the lookout for the automatic gas wipe machine. It's coming! It's coming! Anyway, thank you guys.
All right, Jay. Funny man, Jay Manley. All right, thanks so much. What's next on the agenda? All right. Paging, Paige.
That was really good.
Paige. Mark Dolomita. Jay Maille.
Woo! At the Niles Comedy Club.